Welcome, everybody, to the Bassfug Podcast. Today, we are joined by a very special guest all the way from Philadelphia, Jack Hubbell, like the telescope, of Telyscopes. How are you, Jack?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. First of all, it's a big night for your country. I think by the end of this recording, there might be a civil war going on.
Yeah. I didn't really plan this very well. I probably should have done the interview like a week ago. But yeah, you know.
I think my assistant didn't know either. I didn't know. So I feel, don't worry, I'll try to keep this under 30 minutes.
Well, I voted like 3 weeks ago. So that's the thing is like, you know what I mean? Like I already voted. And then I'm just sort of like, oh yeah, that's right. Everyone else is voting today. So
yeah, you didn't make any bets, did you? Or?
Well, you know, I bet my health insurance and my life, but besides that,
that's a good one. So, Jack, your album's kind of, you had a bit of a journey from I guess what I observed. Your first album seemed to be a lot heavier than your newer albums, but your new albums are heavy. There's heavy songs on it, but I noticed that in the beginning, you kind of had more of like, I don't want to compare you to other bands, but you had more of a heavier kind of sound. Do you agree with that, or?
Sorry, do you mean heavy as in like heavy subject matter, or just like heavy like as in like distortion, like heavy music kind of thing?
Well, I mean with distortion and heavy music, like, but there is a bit of a subject matter thing too. Like you have, I think Ted Cruz is the Zodiac Killer. But then on one of your
heavy, goofy.
No. But that's a subject matter thing, which kind of dovetails with "I Want to Cut You Open" on your Mata album. But I found on that song, it's more kind of playful. Like you could tell it's like kind of goofy. But on the Ted Cruz one, I don't know. It seems like you're really kind of taking the role there. Do you want to touch on that? The difference between your old styles and your new style?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think I grew up in sort of with a lot of like punk and a lot of hardcore because I grew up in DC, which is, you know, the home of like Fugazi,
Bad Brains,
a lot of that stuff, and I grew up, you know, like playing a lot of heavier music, and I was in like a pretty heavy shoegaze band for a while. Called a Mark Train Home, and I played bass with them. And I sang some backup stuff with them. So yeah, I mean, I kind of came from that background, but I think that I listened to a lot of softer music, and I think that I always wanted to make softer music. I just think it was sort of like I got so used to playing heavy music that it just was like second nature, you know, and it sort of took more time to sort of progress and learn how to like actually, you know, write a softer song without, you know, it sounding cheesy or whatever. So
yeah, I noticed there's a the songwriting is a little bit more technical in your newer songs. It's all technical, but if you look at a House on Fire, you know, that's got like some, you know, Zappa kind of 60s, 70s sort of vibes to it, you know. And in my opinion, I don't know if you agree with that, whatever. But that's kind of, you know, I'm wondering, is it just that you started listening to new music and you're emulating music that you like now? Or do you think that it's a part of your maturity and just kind of growing up into like a, you know, an adult, as they say?
I don't know if it's really either. I mean, I listen to new music all the time, but I don't think that I seek out music that is technical or that I try to write music that is technical. I just think that, you know, if it's your first record, you can pretty much get away with anything. You can make, you know, a lot of one chord songs and whatever, you know. It's not so much about that. It's just more about like, I want to, you know, try new things and new ideas. And when you start off, you pretty much have endless ideas to try because you haven't done anything. But the more songs you write, you know, it gets harder to not repeat yourself and try new ideas. So maybe it's a little bit of that, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't think of it as like technical. I don't think House on Fire is like really that technical. I just think it's just its own vibe. It's sort of, you know what I mean? It's its own thing, but I don't know.
And your lyrics, we'll go back to this I Want to Cut You Open song, because this was the one that kind of stood out for me. There's a line in one of your songs where you said, "Scrutinize me down to how many packets of sugar are in my tea." And I thought that was a really good line. I was like, that's a hell of a line. That's a good lyric, because it's true. We all know this person. But then you listen to "I Want to Cut You Open," just to see your blood, just to see you smile. And you're kind of going, what's going on here? Is this guy joking? Like, who is this about? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I think that the whole album motto is sort of dense. I wouldn't call it technical, but it's there's a lot of ideas and there's a lot of stuff happening, and I knew that I wanted to put sort of like a traditionally like pop song, I guess, on like sort of like a sing-along pop song on the record. But I just couldn't find a way to do that, and then I just sort of, eventually I wrote "I Want to Cut You Open." It's really just a gag. It's just a joke, but it's an excuse to have like a pretty catchy song on the record, I guess. And it has really no like meaning, I don't think. I mean, unless you want to look deeper into it, it's just a joke. I don't have any actual fantasies of cutting people open, if that's what you're asking.
No, it's not a thinly veiled. I just thought it was a kind of that and the Ted Cruz thing, and I was like, oh. But moving along,
thing I will touch on that. I mean, that was I really was fascinated for a while with the actual the Zodiac Killer. I mean, the whole mystery of that is really intriguing. And then there's a pretty good movie about it that I liked, like in high school, whatever. Just because the soundtrack, I grew up with a lot of like whatever, like stupid, like Vanilla Fudge, like Donovan, like 60s shit. So like a lot of that stuff is in the movie too. And so I wrote the song the song is actually about the actual Zodiac Killer in San Francisco in the 60s. And then I happened to finish recording the song right when Ted Cruz was running for president. So it felt like a good title. But I don't think there's no element of the song that has anything to do with Ted Cruz. The song is actually about the Zodiac Killer.
Yeah.
The real Zodiac Killer, which may or may not have been Ted Cruz. But,
let's talk about gear a little bit. You're talking about recording.
Yeah.
I think in your bio, you say twee pop. Some people say lo-fi bedroom pop. For me, I think it's indie. But there's one I guess aspect that sort of stands out when you're listening to your music. There's an analog sound to it, and I'm wondering how much is it out of the box? Like, are you a fan of analog? Are you using a lot of analog gear, or is it in just Ableton with a laptop? And do you have any sort of opinions on the authenticity of getting that sound?
There's two answers I could give you. There's the answer I give everyone else, and there's the true answer, but I'm afraid to give that. But no, I actually I use Cubase. I have Cubase. It's 6.5 right now. I'm hoping to upgrade to 10, but no, I actually record most of it in the box. I don't do a lot of processing, I guess. I don't do like a lot to like, I don't like the sound of like processed vocals, I guess. So I have this, what is it? It's right in front of me. Let me look at it. I forget who freaking makes the thing. It's by Golden Age. It's a pre 73. It's like a Neve preamp emulator. Besides that, I don't really use anything, like any rack units or anything. It's pretty much all in the box. All the guitars and all this stuff is just DI through the same preamp, and then I just have like different plugins I use. for like guitar amp sims, because it just sounds like an electric guitar. Like I don't think it really fucking matters like what amp you use, what mic you use. I think it's more about like the actual content of the song, to be honest with you. And I don't know. To me, it doesn't have like a super analog. To me, it almost has more like a cold, like sterile, like digital, I guess, sound. But it's interesting. I guess it's like really subjective, and it's interesting to hear someone say that it sounds super analog, because none of it's analog.
It's funny because you said it doesn't matter what kind of mics you use or whatever. Literally, one of my questions when I was exploring was, what type of mics are you using? For you to tell me that it's all in the box is just, that's just our times. It's crazy that you could have that sound without actually having, this insane vintage outboard gear, right? But you said you were experimenting with reamp echo chambers. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, well, so I did have some fun this last album. I don't do a lot of processing on the vocals, but I did have some fun on this song Syncope and a couple of the songs. I really wanted that like organic reverb sound, because I don't love, like, I feel like a lot of reverb plugins, it just, I don't know, sound kind of muddy or kind of cheesy. So I had like a PA set up in a bathroom, like in a shower, like a walk-in shower. And I just replayed the vocals into the shower with a mic in there, and I just blended that with the dry, and I think it sounded cool, honestly. I think in the future I'm going to do more of that instead of just using like reverb plugins.
You put a speaker in your bathroom, in your bathtub. You played.
Yeah, well, it's like a walk-in tile shower, and so I put it's like a PA speaker. It's like a JBL, like it's like an on-stage like monitor, like a wedge monitor.
Yeah.
So just put that in the tile shower and just played the vocal track into the shower. And there was like you were going to ask me about mics. I have one mic. It's like it's a Shure KSM, what is it? KSM 32, I think. It's like a condenser. It's like middle of the road condenser. Someone actually gave it to me when I was a kid. Like some like random dude just like gave me this mic because I was recording all my vocals with like an SM57 or something, and he just felt bad for me and gave me a fucking mic. But
that's not a bad microphone. I'm using an SM57 right now.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with the 57. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I
classic.
think a condenser on vocals is nice, definitely. But yeah, it was like sort of like a mic, I guess, like in the room, like in the shower, maybe like 5 feet, like in the air, like above the speaker, like. But that was it, and it has a really cool sound. It's almost like the reverb is more dynamic, like it's more jumpy. You know what I mean? Like when you hit like a syllable or you hit like a phrase harder, it's like the reverb kind of like bounces with the vocal. It's a really cool sound.
That's awesome. That's a really cool trick. There was another thing that I noticed too, is that your drums sound great. Are you playing drums, or do you have a guy doing the drums for you?
I have 2 guys who alternate playing drums for me. 3 guys actually alternate playing drums for me. There's 2 people playing drums in the album, but I actually Cubase. I think pretty much any software has it, like where you trigger hit points off the live drums and then you sample replace the drums.
Oh wow!
So I have like a live drummer who plays the Telyscopes, and he has a really cool jazz kit. It's like a Gretsch Catalina jazz kit. So I recorded each of his drums just with just the same condenser mic, like the one like vocal mic I have, like in the room is like a room mic, just picking up like a single snare hit. So I got my friends Carl plays a lot of the drums. My friend Pablo played some of the drums, but then I just replaced all their close mics with literally just like a room mic on this jazz kit. So pretty much all the drums are like, I think, sampled to some degree, but
that's incredible. I would have bet $100 that it would have been recorded completely different. Your recording is is really good. Are you mastering it yourself? Are you mixing and mastering yourself?
I mix all of it. I mastered most of the albums. This last one I spent way too much money on mastering and had a guy do it. Just because the songs were recorded, they were all recorded differently in different settings at different times. And I just felt like I needed like a second opinion, a second set of ears on it. I used this guy, Ryan Schwab. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. I hope so. He did like Modern Baseball, Japanese Breakfast. He did like a handful of like pretty big like Philly bands, and but he's pretty middle of the road in price. And I just felt like, like whatever. He's got good ears. So I didn't really look into his equipment or anything. I just wanted to like get a second set of ears,
For yourself, what are you using for monitors?
Oh, I have these. They're by Focal. They're Alpha 50s. They're actually like the whole Focal line of monitors. I guess it's like designed for like crappy rooms. I'm just like in like a bedroom.
Well, that's everyone now. Yeah.
Yeah, I got them specifically just to like give me like a really balanced flat sound, and they're great. I mean, I love the Focal monitors just because they're so flat. They make everything sound bad, but like in the best. They make everything just sound super unimpressive and flat, and I love it.
Yeah. I noticed that in 2018 you didn't have any releases. Is that correct?
No, I had a couple. I had a lot of EPs. I think I had 2 EPs and a couple singles in 2018. Yeah, why do you ask that?
Oh, because I was going to because in your bio, I'm not sure if you wanted to talk about this, but I read that you had like a scare with cancer. Is that true?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, so that actually gave me an opportunity to stay home and write music. So that's not the reason why I didn't release anything that year. I think that that's separate. But yeah, I did have it's kind of gross, but yeah, I had like a bladder issue. There's like a cyst or something on my bladder that just like popped, and we didn't know what the fuck was going on, and I was like peeing blood, and it was really disgusting.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, it was really gross and really terrifying, but it ended up just being like nothing. It was very anticlimactic. No, I didn't release any music in 2018 because I was recording and writing a lot of music, and I just felt like there's a compilation album on Spotify called Felidae, how do you pronounce that? It has like a cat on the cover, and I did like basically an album's worth of material that I didn't think was anything special, and I just kind of scrapped it and started over. So pretty much everything on Perfume and Mada Mada was recorded in 2018. It just took me a long time to finish and like pick the best songs and stuff. And yeah, pretty much all the songs I scrapped are on that compilation album.
Can you talk about playing live, especially now with the state of the world? I guess, are you able to do like those virtual live shows, or is that a little bit tricky because you have a full band?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we've done some of the virtual things. I mean, it just is what it is. I mean, I don't think we were ever like a great live band to begin with. I don't think it was ever, because it's just like a weird studio project. At least in my opinion. I mean, we play shows, and I think that the guys I played with did like a good job. I think that we replicated the albums pretty well, but my priority was just writing good songs, I guess, and making records. So I don't want to say it doesn't affect me. I miss playing shows, but I miss like hanging out with people and going to the grocery store and like going places without wearing a mask and thinking about it more than I miss playing shows. But so yeah, I guess it hasn't really affected much.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer that you can't go out and, just go to a bar anymore.
Yeah, I mean that, or I just want to like fucking like go to like a library and like sit down and like not have to sanitize like seats and objects and things. Especially here, man, because like you drive like 20 minutes outside of the city and it's just like Trump country and no one's wearing masks and it's kind of scary around here. Pennsylvania is like really fucked up and really scary. I don't dig it. I just pretty much stay inside now.
Yeah, I know the worst thing for the people I've been interviewing on this podcast about the pandemic is when you play live. Usually, you're playing with other bands, and sometimes you meet other musicians that you've never met before. And so when you're playing live, there's like a networking aspect, and you learn about new things, and you make new contacts or whatever, make new friends. And we don't have that anymore. It's fucked. Everything is, you gotta stay home and watch Netflix until it's over, until they got the vaccine.
True. I mean, to some extent, I feel like you can still network on the internet, and so I don't think that's all lost. And I don't know. I guess I don't really miss that. Because I feel like that was always kind of like, it always seemed kind of fake anyway. It always seemed like a game, like
all the sycophants.
So we're playing this game to meet this person because they're on this label or they did this, and it's like it's all just fake. It's not like you're making like that many real friends, like. Yeah. I mean, I miss like hanging out with my actual friends, and I miss like going to see bands that I like. Don't get me wrong, but the networking aspect of it always just kind of felt fake to me. I don't really care too much.
Let's stick on this topic a little bit. I'm the same way. Whenever I would play shows, people that you wouldn't talk to or that used to talk shit about you or whatever, they see you play in front of 400, 500 people, and then they come up and they're kissing your ass the whole night. Do you find, what does that tell you? Do you find that maybe in music there's more social climbers than there are people that actually care about exploring, expressing themselves, or being creative?
Absolutely. I mean, and that's just what it is. I mean, that's the unfortunate reality. But I mean, that's not why I really make music, and I don't really pay attention to it. I mean, there's always going to be a million people that sound just like Mac DeMarco that are in the game to get on a Spotify curated playlist or meet the right people. But whatever, I mean, more power to them. I don't really care. I'm just, I like writing songs. I like the process of writing and recording albums, and it's sort of irrelevant, especially now. I think that I think that the people who were just in it to kiss ass and promote themselves and promote a brand are really hurting now. And I think that the people that just wanted to make music because they were genuine about writing music are doing just fine. I mean, maybe not financially, but as far as our intentions with music, I think we're doing just fine. So,
and that self-actualization where it's like you're doing it because you want to do it. You aren't doing it for some vanity or narcissism or something. I agree with that, because now, since music making has been democratized, and with YouTube and all the tutorials, you can make a killer album, and there's so many people that are. It's like before you'd had Motley Crue, and that was like who you had, right? But now there's like a million Motley Crues out there if you want. So it's when you're trying to climb that social ladder, I don't think you're going to reach that point that you want to reach, because it doesn't exist anymore. Like there isn't Madonnas anymore. If you're famous for a week and then you just go away, no one remembers them, right?
Well, yeah, and I mean, I think if the industry changed, I mean, I think that if I just think that there's too many compromises you'd have to make with your music and with your own like expression to climb that ladder, that it wouldn't be worth it. For me, it wouldn't be worth it. I want to cut you open. I want to write songs like that, and I want to, just do my own thing in my bedroom, and I don't really care too much. And I think that it would be such a chore to have to sort of like sit down and like write like an ideal pop song and engineer a pop song to be played, like on like mainstream radio, that it wouldn't be worth it.
It was like Max
Martin.
Martin.
Feel like a 9-to-5 job, and like, what's the fucking point? It's like, who cares at that point? It's like, it's a lot easier to have a 9-to-5 job and not have that sort of, pressure and attention. So,
yeah. There's something I wanted to talk to you about. Your lyrics. We talked about this earlier. For someone who's just starting and who's wants to start recording and singing, how did you start with I guess writing lyrics and singing yourself? Can you talk about that, like your journey there?
My journey, I don't know. I mean, as far as Telyscopes, I mean, that kind of came later. I was in a lot of bands before I started doing Telyscopes, and I think that I was trying really hard to like write music that was like, I don't know, I was trying hard to like write music that was like, I could hold to like a certain standard, I guess. Like there was like a certain like ideal standard, like an ideal like song, like a format. Like it was in like a lot of like, generic like rock, like pop punk type bands. And I think that I really started reaching a better audience, and I started resonating with people when I stopped giving a shit and just writing about my actual life, and not you don't sit down with a pen and paper and to write a good song. You don't say, oh, I'm going to write a song that's going to be deep, because that's never going to work for you. You don't go into it for that. It's, oh, I lived with these people and they were shitlords and they were like maggots in the sink and fleas everywhere, and it was just fucking disgusting. So you have real situations, you have real things that happen to you. And I think that no one person, no one life experience is any more unique than the other. I think that every person has a unique experience being alive, being a person, being, a human. It's like, what the fuck does it mean? Why are we here? Why do we exist? And there's so many complexities to modern life. There's just endless things to write about. I just think that people get in the trap of trying to write about people get in the trap of trying to write something. They try to write something that is good, and I think it's important to just like, write about what you've experienced and like what's right in front of your face.
Yeah, instead of forcing it, instead of trying to be deep, just looking at your life and expressing yourself that way. Do you keep like a journal or like a diary for your lyrics, or?
Kind of. I mean, it depends on the song, I guess. I had like a prompt for the last album where I would just write nonsense for like an hour every morning. Wow. And I would send a lot of it was just funny. It was just like ridiculous and absurd. And I would send it to like some of my friends and some of my bandmates, and we called it the book. I was like writing the book, and it was just bullshit. I mean, it was just like total garbage. But I do think there's something to be said about writing from your subconscious, like just sitting down in the morning when you haven't really woken up yet and drinking coffee and just like writing nonsense. And you'll find that maybe, one or two lines out of like a couple paragraphs is like actually really interesting and usable, and more usable than what you would have written if you just sat down and tried to write something. So, yeah. But I don't keep like I'm not like thorough like about it. I'm not like super like meticulous about it, if that's what you mean.
No, I just wanted to get an insight, because that was one thing that stood out for me as your lyrics. And I even for myself, I was just curious how you wrote and how you were able to articulate yourself. Like I said, this scrutinized me down to how many packets of sugar in my tea. I don't know what that song is about. You don't need to tell me, but I know in my life, I've actually met people who scrutinize how many packets of sugar you put in your freaking tea. It's a very relatable line, and I found in your work there was a lot of there was some good poetry in there, I guess, if you could call it that. Because I don't know if lyrics and poetry are the same thing, right? Kurt Cobain always said they were, but
I think it's the same thing. I mean, I think that I consider it all the same thing, I mean, because I did like a lot of visual art as a kid. I painted and stuff, and to me, music is just like another medium of art. It's not really any different, but yeah, I mean, with the packets of sugar in the tea, I mean, I think that this stuff happens. I think it comes out of everyday life, I think that a lot of people overlook. I think what a lot of people would consider just the mundane aspects of life have poetic value to them. I just think it's important to just sort of keep your ears attuned to that stuff and just sort of you sort of think of you're thinking as a writer even when you're not writing. You're sort of just keeping your ears open and keeping your mind open to things when you're doing whatever activity, whatever aspect of your life, because I think that there's just so much complexity in everyone's life, and there's just so much to write about. And it's hard to listen. It's hard to stomach music that's just about the same shit. It's hard to stomach music that's just about a relationship ending or about like some just basic whatever, because it's like there's so many interesting aspects of life that haven't been explored yet.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Especially now when the world is ending and our country is going into a civil war and whatever.
Yeah, it's going crazy. Yeah. I guess we're towards the end of the interview here. I totally appreciate your time, Jack. I'm just curious, how did you get into music? Were you like in the school band? Did someone give you a guitar when you were young? How did you start writing, and when did you start recording?
I don't know. I mean, I was a horrible student. I was never in a school band. I don't think I had the patience or the attention span to ever like do that. I didn't really enjoy that. I didn't really enjoy school, and no, I think I was maybe like 10 or 11, and I did take a lot of like art lessons. I took a lot of visual art lessons as a kid. I think that my parents were really cool and really supportive about that, and I did a lot of art lessons and like painting lessons and stuff. But when I was maybe like 11, I just started listening to music. I heard a variety of stuff. I don't know. I heard like, I guess at the time it was like Green Day and like like generic like Black Sabbath and just generic shit. But I started really hearing music, and I just remember hearing music that moved me a certain way and wanting to do the same thing. It was, it was like a new medium of art, I guess, and it was just exciting. That's about it. And then I don't know. I just started recording because out of necessity. Because my high school band we went to like a recording studio and we did a couple albums, but it was just so much fucking money. I mean, it was just ridiculous money you have to spend recording places, and then you end up not being happy with it because you're so stressed out. You're 16 and you had to mow lawns every day in the summer just to recording and to keep this Mexican Stratocaster so you could play the songs, and then you go and then you're so nervous, you're shaking, and you don't get a good performance. So I started just recording demos at home, and I found that I got the better vocal takes, the better performances just from my bedroom. So it was just necessity. I think if I had unlimited funds and I could spend days in the studio, it'd be different. But it's just right now, it's like, there's not much of a music industry. So what are you going to do? You're going to, not record anything your whole life under the hope that someday you'll get an opportunity to go record. It's like, no, you're just going to find a way to record in your bedroom and make it work. And, hopefully get better at doing it so that it doesn't just totally suck. Like those first couple records where it sounds like it was like recorded on wax cylinder or something.
Yeah, they're good though. I like them.
Thanks.
I come from, we're in Montreal right now in Canada, but I come further up north in New Brunswick. And it was a very indie province. And we're all about anything Sub Pop records in the 90s. And, it's the same mentality. It was out of necessity. It was like, well, we have a 4-track tape recorder and that's what we're going to use. And we're going to release that on vinyl. Like, and if you don't like the sound, tough shit, that's the sound, So I really like that, your approach, you made your own path, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can wait around for something to happen, because the goal for me isn't to, sign to a major label and make a pop record. I like writing. I like the process of writing, and so yeah, you just got to find a way to do it. And you're absolutely right with the 4-track what you mentioned. I mean, I think that I think those limitations kind of put more emphasis, I guess, on the song, and they put more emphasis on the writing. Because you have nothing to hide behind. You can't overthink the process. You just kind of have to just use what you have available and just make it work. And I think that's really important. So,
excellent, Jack. Thank you so much for your time. I totally appreciate it. Before we go, do you want to do your promotion? Where can we reach you? What are your socials, as they say?
It's just Telyscopes, pretty much everywhere, I think. But yeah, we have a new record out. Pretty much everywhere, Spotify, Bandcamp, whatever.
Excellent. And we'll put the links in our show notes, so they're everywhere. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jack, for your time. I totally appreciate it. Is there anything you want to say before we go?
No, I'm good. Thank you. I appreciate it too. And yeah, thanks.
And good luck tonight. Stay safe.
Oh God. Yeah.
Okay. Take care, Jack. Bye-bye.
Take it easy.
This program was brought to you by the superwill64.com Entertainment Network. For more great shows, podcasts, and music, please visit superwill64.com.